Technology in the construction industry evolves rapidly, faster than ever. But technology alone does not drive change. People do. Digital construction champions do. So, hello, welcome to today's episode 3. I have special guest Stjepan Mikulić from Croatia and the USA, both, I would say, moved to USA. How long are you in USA? Stjepan, can you tell us something more about you and introduce yourself to our audience, please?
Yes, of course. First of all, thank you so much for the invitation, Predrag. I really appreciate it. So yeah, as you said, my name is Stjepan. I go by Stefan. I was born and raised in Croatia. I lived in Denmark for 10 years, and then ever since earlier this year, so earlier 2025, I have been in Los Angeles. So this has been now, 7-8 months.
So what are you doing there?
Well, I have 2 companies to run, so that's...
Are you running companies? And are you studying as well together with running the companies, or?
No, it's just I'm a business owner. I like the first company I started. It's called AI in Architecture, Engineering, Construction, so AI and AEC. And that one, like I got a lot of clients around the world, and primarily from the USA, and that was the main reason for moving here. I wanted to be closer to my clients. So.
Okay, so I think that's all about introduction. Would you like to say something more about you or your business, or we can close block 1 and jump to the block 2?
I mean, yeah, I mean, for me, I think I would like to say something extra, and this is the fact that, like, I don't know who's listening to this, and what their perspectives are, but I can just tell you that, like, a year and a half ago, I would have never imagined to live the life I live today, and especially being invited on such podcasts, because a year and a half ago, I was still working a normal job as an architect, as a BIM lead, until I was laid off.
Oh, really?
And yes, exactly.
Because I'm also laid off, so I'm looking for my
Yeah,
opportunity to open the business.
exactly. This is kind of what pushed me to open the business, and what is it now? In a year and a half, I got more than 700 clients from 67 countries around the world. I tell you, thank you,
Congratulations,
man. I tell
really.
you,
This is
yeah.
big win in my opinion, and I started this channel as a kind of wish to stay stronger after I lost my job. So yeah.
Then you
So
understand it 100%. I felt the same way, man. I was like, is it me? Why me? I sure like, and so on. But like, I look back at it now, and I think this was like, I'm so grateful this happened. I would have not have this life. I would have not moved to the States. I would have not have 3 employees. I would have not have, so many things in my life happened just because of this decision that I was pushed to do. So it's a blessing. So what I'm trying to say is that I think that only in the long run, when you look back, the dots connect. It all makes sense. But in the moment, it feels like the worst possible thing that could have happened. But yeah, I think that this was especially for people like that like easily fall in love with something like I do. So I fell in love with like being a BIM lead, and I loved that job. I wouldn't have left it. I was like, I was not supposed to be a business owner, especially not have 2 businesses right now. But yeah, I think this is something I wanted to share.
let's hope that our experiments will work both, in a good direction, and hope that we will celebrate together the end of financial year this year. Okay, so we can close now the block 1 and jump to block 2. Okay, so welcome to the second block of today's episode 3. Stjepan, would you tell us something more about your career journey and how come you how did you join the construction industry digital part as well? Your current position and what inspired you to run along the way you had so far.
Okay, that's I can either give it a simple answer or like a bit longer. I mean, but I think it's all about the story. I think that everybody um, can relate to my story because like I got inspired by my parents, by my father primarily. He's a civil engineer, and I just remember like because I was a kid and he had a like AutoCAD 3D, and I remember like he was just showing some lines in 3D, and I immediately fell in love. I was like, wow, this is cool. You can like because one of the main things that people would like to be able to do like superpowers is the ability to fly, and I just felt like, oh my God, I can fly and see the house and the city and I don't know what. So that was like a cool thing when I was a kid. But then over time, how I specialized in technology and so on, it wasn't the first thing at uni. Like I studied something between architecture and engineering in Denmark. And then it wasn't the first thing I kind of fell in love with. I think it was like I had an internship because that's kind of a part of the program. And I went for like 6 months, 9 months. I worked in Turkey on a construction site. And I noticed that everybody comes to me for technology questions, and I'm actually really good at like understanding it, explaining it, teaching it, and so on and so forth. And then I asked like I had some people like there like as mentors, and they told me you should double down on this. You should double down. You're really good at this. So
Mm.
that's how I got into BIM. And yeah, so I worked at Sweco, Swedish consultants.
Mm.
That's like the largest engineering consultant firm in Europe. I think it's around 22,000 people right now. And I worked there as a BIM coordinator. I did structures, MEP, ventilation, electrical stuff. And after that, like after I got a kind of, I kind of realized, okay, this is it. I understood everything. I learned everything. Let me try a new challenge. So I got to BIG or Bjarke Ingels Group. Any
Yeah,
architects in the listening will
architects.
know about it. And yeah, I was there for 2 years as a BIM lead until they laid me off, as I've said. So and I have no beef with the company. I think that the projects are amazing. The designs are like mind blowing. I think the leadership and beside Bjarke, he's in his own universe, but the rest of the partners could use a bit of a maybe help on some in some regards. I can say this openly, no problem. But yeah, I think in general it really helped me launch my own business, as I've said. So I started a business in early 2024 that offers AI courses, AI workshops, teaching architects and engineers how to implement AI. Because something I did as like my background is within the last 3 years, I created the world's largest database of AI tools for the AEC industry. So I
That's
researched all
amazing.
about it. I interviewed people like you do right now, and
That's amazing.
yeah, and it's like
But
more than 1,700 applications right now. And people think that there's only ChatGPT. I'm like, there's thousands more, literally. So people come to me for questions right now, and I made courses. They sold really well, and then the other company I'm running right now, it's called NeoStack, and that company is mainly focused on helping AEC firms understand their technology footprint, because we realized, like my co-founder and I, um, met on this journey of me running my own company, and then we realized that none of the companies we speak with actually has any idea of how much technology they're using, how many apps, how many
yeah,
licenses, how much does it cost them, and people just because everybody in the AC optimizes for selling time and money, you know, um, not on time and materials, sorry, but doesn't optimize for selling technology.
I think my experience is that typically each company has twice more software that it is necessary for per position. This is first experience because people think that it's free if the company pays, so they require from IT to install everything. What's on many. But just one thing to add to make us even closer. I'm civil engineer and I started with AutoCAD 2004. This was my
Wow.
first 3D software. I learned 3D AutoCAD in Vinci Institute in Belgrade, so that was my first experience with. It's 21 years since now. Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm very old modeler. But I think if we join the forces, because you also I know that you're doing some workshops on LinkedIn, and if you spotted, I'm a guest very often to your workshops, because I think it's a lot of things can be learned in your workshops, and they're very valuable, and I'm really happy to have an opportunity to join your sessions and workshops. So keep doing the job, and it's fantastic, really.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think what you're referring to, so maybe people would like to know, it's AI Demo Days, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Y-
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. So this is
But
like a show.
it's interesting that what I realized when I was looking at your workshops is that you're not afraid of um, people that are doing the same stuff as you. You know, it's some kind of joint venture kind of workshops where you join the forces together with people from your industry. You're not looking at them like enemies, but as friends, which is fantastic, really.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think it comes because I don't believe in competition. I don't believe in that. I believe the only competition we can have in life is us against ourselves, right? So
Yeah,
like to just like to be better tomorrow and so on. And I anyway think that there's infinitely more problems than there are people to solve them on this planet.
yeah.
And it's like the same thing. So what's your sport of choice? What do you like to play?
What do you mean?
Like basketball, football,
Aha,
badminton?
water polo.
Water polo, that's your sport. Okay,
Yeah,
so do you when you go to play water polo, you need to play with other people. Otherwise, it's not fun, right?
yeah, yeah. You're right.
Yes. So you're looking at those people as your comrades, as your friends, and so on. And of course, like you can
That's right.
like imagine a
Team
competition where
approach.
you play against each other, but there's actually no competition at all. It's like you're all there for the one single purpose, to have fun and to play water polo.
That's right.
And I feel the same way about, our jobs and business and so on. I'm in this for, I mean, not only for fun, but to actually change the industry and so on. And if somebody's in the same game as I am, why not join forces? So this is how I
Sure,
think of it.
sure. I mean, this is the greatest value you brought to the market. So let's, if you agree, we can close now block two. I'm just
Sure,
trying
yeah.
to manage the time. So close the block two and jump to next block, block three, called projects and challenges. Okay, so welcome to Block 3 Project and Challenges. Stjepan, would you tell us something more about your projects or your challenges and how it's the biggest success, transformation, digital transformation in your company or your project, so working with large teams and some kind of, I'm just giving you the idea what we are probably interested about. Maybe
Yeah, so I
the
think,
final question would be, what have you learned from the failure? And I think I know the answer. Maybe you can start with that again.
what do you think I would say?
If it's failure, if you consider failure as a losing job at big,
Ah.
then it's not a failure indeed. So just to swap the meaning of the word failure. Failure sometimes doesn't mean that you failed, but that you're newborn.
Yeah. No, like I mean, probably by seeing all of these AI demo days that you say that you watch, probably you know by now that I'm quite, I mean, religious, so I believe that God has a plan for everybody on this planet, including
Mm.
myself, and I think that God was just like trying to tell me that I was born for something more than a normal job, because you wouldn't have invited me on this show, you wouldn't have known about me, I wouldn't have been doing the things I'm doing right now, haven't it been for that layoff. So, and the same for you. Like, we wouldn't have ever met. I would have no idea who Predrag is,
Yeah,
you know. So I think that it all like there's yeah, it all has a meaning behind it. But of course, like I can't say that it's 100% of cases because sometimes life is just unfair and things go under. Like especially in the startup world and so on. So it really depends. But I think that for me, like this story is like just prove me that like yeah, like I should have made that jump to entrepreneurship sooner or later. And God just said, you gotta do it sooner. You gotta do it now. So yeah. Um, just to answer this, the first question. So I mean, I can take because I don't really do projects anymore as I did before. So before I was like working on a project for 6 months, a year, whatever, a year and a half. Right now, I mainly help firms work on projects, if that makes sense, because again, I do AI education, workshops, courses, and so on. Um,
may
so
I
it's been
interrupt you? Sorry,
interesting
are
to
you doing
see.
also online? You're doing for the American market or worldwide?
It's worldwide, actually. It's worldwide. So, because one funny thing that happened is that, I moved to the States because most of my clients are here. But ever since I moved, I got more European clients
Yeah,
than I
so
ever had. And I think it's just because of the mindset that, this is how I explain it to myself because they're like, if he made it to America, he must be good. So let's hire him. And I was like, I spent so many years in Europe when nobody said yes to working with me because I was young. I was like, they didn't, I don't know why. I actually don't know why because nobody tells you why they want to work with you. Like, and then I
but
moved.
can you compare now? Because I know that BIM is and in general digital technologies are more developed in USA, but you can tell it now from the center of gravity in this case, what we're
Yeah.
discussing. So what is your experience when you moved to USA? What is the difference between Europe and the USA? Is it a really big gap that Europe is behind USA in digital?
It's not. It's
Not.
not a big gap in terms of BIM. You still get like, of course, like this is what people typically think because, like, what you hear about the other side, um, like sound like maybe you hear about the top 5%. The thing is that I worked in top 5% of firms in Europe, and I know what technology is used, and then I know that some like top 5% in USA like are using the same technology, but the large majority is still very early. So of course, like BIM is of course more prevalent, and I think that's the key difference. The key difference between America and Europe when it comes to BIM, AI, and technology is just that there's a lot more money here, and people aren't stressed about paying for an extra license of Revit and paying for new software and paying for this. It's not that big of an issue. Whereas in Europe, everything's like really calculated, everything's like estimated. Everybody, even like it
Budgeting,
depends
project
where in Europe.
managers.
Yeah, so costs are a lot more like day-to-day life in Europe than in the States. Of course, everybody thinks of money here too. As you know, this is like a money-driven market, but it's yeah, there's a lot more of it, I think, here
When
So
I started in one American company, so there were at the beginning of my work, I was unhappy with hardware because I knew that I can develop more per hour, or like the value of my work would be better if I would have better, for example, machine and I don't know, two screens. And it's
mm,
a question about productivity. It's not about money, because
yeah,
if you invest in a license and it pays off through the business, it's a good investment. And I think this is what European market is a little bit behind, because everything is calculated through the lenses or glasses. For example, in Germany, you have a strict differentiation between engineers and modelers, and BIM world. Indeed,
hmm,
it's still waiting for engineers to join the. When I say engineers, I think about, for example, also project managers, because this is my experience. The most of project managers are not aware of BIM. That's my experience, at least. They're expecting us to feed them with information, but they really don't know how to deal with the model itself. And okay, from
I have a
one side, I can understand they're busy, but on the other side, they should be aware of basic things, how the project is developed.
Yeah, I have a saying that typically everything starts in Excel and everything ends in Excel, regardless of the technology
Yeah,
used in between. Um, and this is mainly because, like, I always say, like, technology is here. Like, if you want to have the fastest project, best collaboration, technology allows you to do that today. Like, you don't, it's not something that needs to happen. But what you need to do is, like, you need to learn how to use it. And never,
that's
like,
right.
that half an hour of learning is what most people don't actually get.
So, Stjepan, the stage is yours. Do your best and shine. Outperform everyone, please.
Yeah, thank you so much. Now I feel that the pedestal is super high. I think that it's gonna make a lot more sense for people if they wanna learn more to either go to on my LinkedIn or YouTube and then see these demo days that you were speaking about as well, because I think this is where I perform. I mean, best. This is what I feel that I was born to do. Like educate people and help people move forward with technology in this industry. But for now, like what I can share is like maybe a couple of examples of like what problems am I working on right now, and how this be relevant for people from both companies. So as I've said, the first company ANAC that produces like courses and workshops and so on. It's so fun, man. Like because I get invited all over the world either for workshops, and have students from all over the world, and it's just so great to see like their testimonials, like their feedback, telling like that this course was probably the best investment that they ever made, or that they thought they knew, for example, how to use ChatGPT, but they realized they were using it in beginner mode, and things, and so on and so forth. So this is very very gratifying to see this, to hear this feedback. And again, the main goal of my courses is to help people save time. That's the main goal. Um, I have reports of like that if you learn how to use AI properly on many use cases, you can save more than 12 hours a week. And this is what the course teaches you how to do it. But it doesn't stop with only personal productivity. It also goes on to AI implementation. And this is something I also help like larger companies with, where it's like, okay, I have 2,000 employees in my firm. How do I go about this? So because not everybody's the same. I guess people like
Yeah.
yourself or people listening to this, they're open to technology. They're gonna learn about it regardless. Um, but it's the majority. Like, how do you move the critical mass of people? That's the question. Um, well, yeah, that's the first business, but it's more of a service business, you can call it, because like I produce the courses, I produce the workshops. But the second business, I think it's more working on like bigger problems of all of this, as I might have alluded to earlier in the show. It's called NeoStack, and you people can learn more about us on neostack.ai. And the problem that we solve is that we looked at many studies that suggest that 30 to 50% of software is actually unused
Hmm.
because companies overbuy software in all of the cases. And this leads to an annual waste of $34 billion in the US and the UK combined. Just like wasted money that goes to nowhere, right? I mean, it goes to these software companies, but it's not
Yeah.
really optimal for AEC businesses. Like you're spending money on something you're not even using. So the goal of NeoStack is to help them optimize that, to help them cut those costs. Because what we do is we help you find the best tool for you. We help you manage all of your tools, track licenses, track their cost, and then even adopt the tools. Because what we realized is also what firms, when they implement, a tool, when they choose a tool, within the first 18 months, around 40% of mid-market companies abandon the tool of use
Mm.
because it's just that it doesn't align with their business workflows. It doesn't like it's hard to learn it. So this is also another problem we're trying to tackle with NeoStack. And I think that we had some really good either like first founding design partners. This is the stage we're at now. So what this means is that we are launching the beta soon, and once beta is out, we're working toward our first MVP, so to speak, to be launched in like 1st of February or 1st of March next year, and or 2026, right? And that's the goal. We have like more than 200 companies that signed up on the wait list. Many of these companies reached out even earlier. They want to like help us either with finances or with testing and feedback. And all of these companies understand that giving us a bit of money right now to help us develop this, as we're doing it anyway. Being fully bootstrapped for now, where like we put our own money. My co-founder and I put our own money behind this and develop this. Um, they understand that giving us a bit more money right now can save them thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars
Yeah.
in the long run. So yeah, I think that that's what I can share for the what we're doing. And I think that if people want to learn more, go to my LinkedIn, YouTube. I'm pretty easy to find. I'm harder to catch, I would say, because especially with all the emails I need to get back to and all the companies and so on. But yeah, I pretty easy to find. So you know, yeah, I think that that's what I wanted to share.
One question, because I worked for big companies like you, for Intel, for General Electric, for ISG, which is a data center construction company. So there is a individual approach to AI at the moment. Are you working on something that is centralized, that is company-wise, sharing information where, for example, myself and my 5 colleagues can communicate through one chatbot, and one single chat instead of opening 5 chats and speaking in micro. I mean, this is the thing that I think will change the work. But do we have some technology available right now for multi, how to say, more people to deal with one chatbot and that others can see, contribute, and define the problem and read the output, and so just to have collaboration like we have a Revit model. So I'm trying to imagine the same thing with the chatbot
Hmm.
on company level. What's your
Yeah,
opinion?
I think
Is
we
it
do.
valuable? Does it make sense to have that
Both yes
approach?
and no, because like within your company, like if everybody's on the same level, then it makes sense. But typically, it's like you have thousands of projects, you have hundreds of clients, you have so much like this person's doing that, this person's doing this. So this like individualism that we are experiencing in AI, where everybody has their own chatbot, so to speak, does
Yeah,
make sense. But to answer your question, if something exists that can you like unite that knowledge, yes. So you have two approaches here. Approach number one is to connect, like to um, put all the data into one place and then chat with it, which is a lot harder to do than it sounds because your data is sitting in thousands of files in thousands of
yeah,
platforms, OneDrive, Google Drive, SharePoint, wherever. Like it's everywhere. Um, so that's one approach to try to put it into one place. But then you're also like you have a central point of failure. If this fails, everything fails, right?
yeah,
Um, and the other approach is actually leave the data where it is and then just connect an AI model to all of those sources and then try to like work with it. And I think that second approach is better, at least right now. One of the problems with it is, of course, like it's going to be unstructured data anyway, so you might find some incorrect or past project data that doesn't make sense. But if you connect to all of these apps, it's easier to source. So you have like apps like Howie, for example, that does this, knowledge architecture that does something similar. So people maybe can check those out. But I think that for everybody who's like looking as such as yourself into something like, okay, let me get started, let me get people on board, let me try to do something. I think that, we are underestimating the power of Notebook LM, even like, simple tools such as Gemini, such as Claude, and Notebook LM primarily, because this is exactly what you described. You want to put up some files, that's like your knowledge base, and people like you can share it and so on, and you can do that with Notebook LM. If you have something more of a goal-oriented thing that you want to do, then custom GPTs are the way. And like I know it might sound simple to people who are in AI, but I think it's still underused. Like all of
Yeah.
these, so to speak, simple technologies.
Yeah. I mean, in general, my experience in big companies is that, as you said, you have a lot of knowledge levels, so it's hard to sharp and say, this is the expected level. I think we are in the middle of journey, so this is the reason why people are just onboarding still. There are so
Yeah,
many people that are onboarding.
I agree.
So,
I agree.
would you like to say anything else in block 5, or we can jump to next block?
No, I think I shared everything. So if people want to learn more, I have a lot more to share and to say. I work like 90% of every day is spent working
Yeah,
for a good reason. But yeah, I hope that people will see this and appreciate this as such as you did with the AI demo days, and because they're free. So if they want to check it out, again, my YouTube, my LinkedIn, we have guests every week where I invite startups typically, AI companies to share their solutions, to share how it all works. I am unbiased in this. Nobody paid to be there, so I can really grill them, so to speak. I can ask them the hard questions. And it's really fun to do this show because like we get a lot of audience interactions and questions. So yeah, if people want to check it out, it's completely free. Just go to ainac.com and under the drop-down menu, you find AI demo days, and that's where it is. So
that's fantastic. Okay. So this is how it works. Thank you for explaining that. We're closing block 4. Thank you. Thank you for joining Digital Construction Champions. Remember, technology alone does not change construction. People do. Champions do. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, share your thoughts in the comments, and stay connected with our community. See you.